Everything is happening. Hello, everyone. I'm J.E. Skeets of the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. We got ourselves another emergency podcast. It's 4:45 p.m. Eastern, July 1st still. Happy Canada Day still. Happy birthday to my wife still. I'm going out to a very nice dinner in about an hour and a half. But we had to slip in the emergency pod. Shout out to the stream teamers, to the sickos joining us possibly for the second time here today. We had the Drop podcast this morning. We did our day one NBA free agency roundup. We talked for 30 minutes or so with Lee and Trey about Kevin Durant, the trade options there. So if you want to hear our thoughts on the massive contract extensions, Brunson to the Knicks and Simons signing for $100 million with the Blazers and all those little minor deals from day one, go check that pod out or watch that video. But holy hell, did things pop up here on day two. Let me drink the appropriate beer here for this emergency podcast. It's an emergency drinking beer. Let's crack it. I'm thirsty. Basically turning into like a Twitch person, I feel like. Is that what you call them? Streamer? Emergency drinking beer. If you're new here, like the video, subscribe, share the show, comment away, like many of you are right now. But yeah, we got a lot of trades here to talk about before I go out to this fancy dinner. I will change out of this No Dunks hoodie. Don't you worry. I might even put on a button-up shirt. Ho, ho, ho. But we got to start with our guy, Brian Windhorst. What is going on in Utah? That's what people in the league are watching right now. What's going on in Utah? Windy turning himself into a meme earlier today. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just search for the clip. But man, did he call it, because we've got one big Utah trade, and it is the Timberwolves sending Patrick Beverley, Malik Beasley, Kessler, Vanderbilt, Bolmaro, I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, and multiple first-round picks to the Utah Jazz for one Rudy Gobert. Yes, Rudy headed to the Wolves. I thought it was going to be Miles Turner. If you saw my tweets, I was throwing that out, trying to speak it into existence. I think this is coming, and they one-up me, I guess, with the Turner move. They go to Gobert. The picks going back to Utah, unprotected firsts in 23, 25, 27. You got a swap there in 26, and I think a top 5 protected in 29 too. Is that right? Holy hell, that's a lot of picks for Rudy Gobert. And this experiment, I think Tass was calling it fascinating. And it really is. I mean, Cat, of course, moving to the 4 now. Got these, you got one guy that you pay $200 million plus to just play offense, really, in Karl Anthony Towns. And you got one guy you pay $200 million plus just to be an elite defensive guy in Rudy Gobert. $400 million. You got yourself a hell of a player. Wild stuff here. All these guys going. Who knows if either of these teams are done too? And we can get to the Jazz in a second. But does this move the needle for you guys from Minnesota side of things? With Rudy there beside Towns, you still got D'Angelo Russell. Do the Wolves even run pick and roll with Finchie? I don't think they run it all that much. Maybe they'll incorporate it if Russell is alongside Gobert still, if that's the lineup. And then Anthony Edwards, your young talent there. Kermit, who had some previous comments about Rudy Gobert not being as an elite defensive player as maybe some of us think. He was more concerned, Ant was, with Kristaps Porzingis at the rim. That's a big man. He would make him second guess his shots at the rim. Not Rudy Gobert, not so much. But hey, Rudy Gobert's used to, I feel like, teammates not really loving him. So I'm sure he'll be okay. But yeah, what do you think? Who knows? Here's what's going to happen, because it's Troy Murphy's law when it comes to the No Dunks podcast, especially emergency podcast. As soon as we stop recording here, as soon as we say goodbye, as soon as I finish the beer, we'll go to turn this into a podcast, and then the Wolves will make another move, or Kevin Durant will be traded, or, some other crazy shit will happen. Donovan Mitchell will be shipped to the Charlotte Hornets for Gordon Hayward and 4 to 5 first round pick. That's just the way it goes. This is my sacrifice to you and to the NBA gods that as soon as we stop, there'll be another bombshell. But for now, it's Rudy, it's Towns, it's Ant, it's D'Angelo Russell. And, they got a lot of open spots now. They shipped out a lot of guys, right? What did I name there? 5 or 6 guys, something like that. But we'll see. I really am fascinated to see, how elite is he, at just completely changing around a defense. And, didn't have great perimeter defenders in Utah. I would say that's still the same here in Minnesota. But can he sort of make them, whatever? What's the ceiling with a Rudy Gobert led defense? Top 10 for sure. Can you even be cracking top 5? I will. I can't wait to find out. I really can't. Saw the photoshops of Rudy in that Wolves jersey though. Looks good. Good work, Photoshop boys. And I think it just looks great on him. So I'm excited about that. People in the stream team. Oh yeah, we talked about them getting Kyle Anderson too. That was the name I was drawing a blank on. I'm like, I know there's another sort of key player there, but he's got it. People dropping L's for the Wolves. I saw. Look, people seem to be torn with this one a little bit. I think maybe, and I don't want to put words into some of your mouth, but you were thinking maybe Miles Turner made a little bit more sense. It would be cheaper in theory, especially after we saw what Brogdon went for. Then Rudy, of course, with all those picks. But they are really committed here to helping out that defense. So I can't wait to see. Wow. That's a lot. That is a lot for a guy that's 30 years old and gets sort of killed for really only being a player on one side of the floor, an elite player. But, look, he still contributes. Again, look, if Russell's running some pick and roll with them, Rudy's fine. I mean, Vanderbilt was out there with them, and he's no offensive threat. Now it's just Rudy, a little closer to the net, the dunker spot. And Towns not having to obviously play a lot of the bigs now. Hopefully that helps him in reducing his fouls, though I'm almost just as concerned that now he's playing like sort of quicker, more mobile bigs and that he's reaching on those and biting on pump fakes on those guys. So hopefully he can stay out on the floor. But this is fun. As for Utah, I mean, look, again, back to our guy Wendy, which, I mean, this is killing me. This clip, I watched it 100 times here today, guys. I laughed every single time. And him just taking us on a journey talking about the Utah Jazz with the rest of the desk there, just living on every word he was saying and every word he was not saying. The silence is what really spoke from Wendy in this clip. So what will happen now? There are rumors floating around that the Suns intrigued in Mitchell, I guess, or maybe the Jazz intrigued in DeAndre Ayton. Is that a 3-team deal? Is that Ayton Bridges, going back in something like that? You're like, why would the Suns? I mean, I don't see Mitchell going to Phoenix. You have Devin Booker. We've compared those two guys, for crying out loud. So that seems to be a bit of an overlap. But is there a third team here? How does KD involved in all of this and the mess there? Or do they just, I mean, I jokingly said the Hornets thing, but is there something like that where they just continue to rack up the picks? And I think it was Mike Prada saying, are we going to be like 3 drafts from now and it's Adam Silver like just saying, okay, the Thunder are on the clock and Jazz, you're now on the clock. Okay, Thunder, you're back on the clock. And the Spurs, you're on the clock. And then Jazz, you're back on the clock. And then Thunder, you're actually picking up here in 6. Like, feels like there'll be 4 teams that will have all the draft picks. So good stuff there from Mike Prada, who's at The Athletic. Get yourself a subscription. Go to theathletic.com/no-dunks. Get your thoughts in here, but we'll move to some of the other moves, deals, I should say, and Brogdon going to the Celtics and Kevin Huerter going to the Sacramento Kings. That was one that feels like it happened about, 4 days ago at this point. People are saying, yeah, Mitchell to the Nets. Is that the exciting sort of juicy young piece? It feels like whenever the Nets make a decision, it could be more than just, 2 teams. Teams are going to want to get involved to help out. We talked about it on the Drop podcast this morning. Hollinger had a great breakdown of why Ayton for KD, like as the core of a trade, there's a lot of complications in terms of the books there. So base year compensation because of Ayton and luxury tax things and stuff like that. It can get tricky. It's not impossible. You can make it happen, but a lot easier, more players involved, and even more easier if other teams are involved. So I think that is something that we're gonna see. But look, Katie will be traded as soon as we stop recording here. What else is funny about this deal, though? I guess Patrick Beverley in Utah for now. Funny. Where's he gonna? Is he gonna still be there? Is he gonna make his way to the Lakers somehow? We'll see. Yeah, looks like a lot of people are not all that high on the Wolves aggressively going for Rudy Gobert. I'm high on it from just a content play, from a wow. Let's see if this works. Again, I think between the two, I would have preferred Turner at a much cheaper cost, but they obviously maybe they couldn't get him. Maybe the Pacers were not interested. I don't know. They didn't want Beasley, and you would think they would want picks, but I don't know with these unprotected picks. Like, these are a lot, but if your team is good, then they're going to be sort of back end of the first round. It's the crapshoot. And these things get passed around so much too. Like, who knows who will have these at a certain point. So yeah, I'm into it just from a pure sicko play. And I joke that NBA Twitter is going to explode when Anthony Edwards accidentally, on a putback dunks on Gobert. I can see it now. I know it's going to happen, and it'll be quite the larf. It'll be so much fun. Moving on, though. I actually had the thumbnail ready to go for just this guy, and thankfully I waited a little bit. But we had the Pacers finally, can I say finally? I guess. Finally trading Malcolm Brogdon to the Boston Celtics for Daniel Tice, Aaron Nesmith, Nick Stauskas on Canada Day? That should be illegal. Malik Fitz, Jawan Morgan, and a 2023 first-round pick. Love this move. Like about 99% of NBA Twitter, love this move. Definitely for the Celtics. Little surprised the Pacers couldn't get more in return. And this is it. But man, Boston bringing in a guy who, 3 years, $67 million. Brogdon doesn't play a whole lot. I think Lowe had it. 48 games played, 64 games played, 54 games played, 56 games played, and then only 36 games played over the last 5 seasons. A couple of those COVID related, but he has struggled to give you 80% workload. You're happy almost if you're getting 50% with this guy. But when he plays, holy crap, he is good. He's solid. And the Celtics, I think Brad Stevens, correct me if I'm wrong, after the season, after the finals, we need more playmaking. And then there was the talk of it can't be Smart. Can't be your point guard. You're not going to win a title that way. Well, this is literally perfect. You get more playmaking in Brogdon, but by no means can you no means are you all right, Smart, see ya. You're down. Your minutes are limited and stuff you can play these guys together. If he's playing, that's always the big if with him, but it's just as a really, really nice trade. Brad Stevens doesn't care. F your first round picks. Traded the 21 pick for Al Horford, the 22 first rounder for Derek White, and then a 23 first rounder here now for Brogdon. And those are Horford, White, Brogdon, great players. They have a super deep team. You got your superstars in Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and now you're pairing. You can slide him into the starting lineup here. And holy crap, to not give up, I guess the Pacers wanted Grant Williams, to not even have to give up him. Then the Celtics go and get Gallinari, or they're going to. I guess he's going to sign a 2-year, $13 million deal once he clears waivers after he's released by the Spurs because he got traded there in that Hawks deal for DeJounte Murray. Just what a squad. And they got open roster spots now, vet minimum contracts, probably some player exceptions still to use. So they may not even be done in filling out that roster, but I love it. Absolutely love it from Boston. A dangerous team, just got even a little bit better. You just hope that the 50 games played from Malcolm Brogdon are not November to, mid-January. If you're going to pick Malcolm, put him on the other end and play there in, early March, April, and into the playoffs. Make those the 50 games because, it's just another great, great player. Another awesome addition here from Brad Stevens. And Look, I think maybe they even learned their lessons when they were doing all of their draft picks, like Neesmith being one of them. It's like they either don't develop them or they just strike out on them. And it's like, all right, just trade them. Get vet guys in here that actually can help our team. We got our guys. We drafted Tatum and Brown and Smart and Robert Williams. We're fine there. We don't need any more. Just keep getting these guys that contribute on both ends. And this is a really nice deal. Pacers, again, a little shocked that that's what they got. That's all they got. That's not a lot. The pick is nice. But I guess Neesmith is the hope, is like, no pressure now, man. I know you were spotty minutes. You're a shooter that was struggling with your shot at times. He might be unleashed a little. I don't think that's far-fetched to say that on a team where they're going to be playing, for a draft pick, you get to play free and loose beside Halliburton and all that maybe he's unlocked a little bit. So maybe you get a little gem there. I think that's the thinking. And sure, I think just more people thought that you were going to get a little bit more for Malcolm Brogdon. And what does this mean for Turner? To go back to him, if they're not done, just like the Jazz may not be done if they move Mitchell, are the Pacers done now moving possibly a Miles Turner? And are you getting another first-round pick? Can you get even a little bit more? And who are the teams? Who are the teams that want the center? Is it the Raptors still? I thought it was going to be the Wolves. They go with Gobert. Who else is in desperate need, would you say, of a center? It's not a whole lot, are there? I mean, Charlotte Hornets were. They're probably not now after their draft. Pistons, they're sort of fine, I think, with their draft. So unless I'm forgetting a team, let me know. Who should be in the sweepstakes for Miles Turner? The other trade from today, to keep this moving with some pace as I take a sip. Hey, while I take a sip, hit the like button. That'd be fantastic. I purposely bought this emergency drinking beer for these emergency podcasts that I knew we were going to have. We have the Hawks trading Kevin Huerter, or Kevin Huerter, as Lee likes to say, to the Sacramento Kings for Justin Holiday, Mo Harkless, a future first-round pick, and that's it. So Holiday, Harkless, a future first-round pick. I caught myself there because there's like a bunch of protections on the pick. Lottery protected in 24, top 12 protected in 25, top 10 protected in 26, and then if it doesn't or hasn't conveyed by then, turns into 2 seconds. I know you real sickos like that stuff. That's for the real sickos, to include stuff like that. But look, it's the Kings. So yeah, that's probably going to turn into 2 seconds. Like this move for Sacramento though. So their big free agency so far is getting Malik Monk, which we briefly addressed on the first podcast this morning. And now Kevin Huerter, and just getting some shooting in theory. The defense is going to be bad in Sacramento, I think. Thank God you got Davion Mitchell. But those two guys can shoot. And Fox, let's go, baby. I've been saying it for a while. I want all your De'Aaron Fox stock. Give it to me. I believe. And I think what we saw after Halliburton got moved, he got paired with Sabonis. There's something there. I love Mike Brown coming in, and I like shooters around him. Let's play. Let's let Fox play, though. So I'm high on this, and this is a not take a lot either. This is the other thing, like we're saying, the protections on the pick and giving up, letting Holiday go play with his brother again here in Atlanta. Mo Harkless. How could you be Mo Harkless? Who cares? This is nice. This is nice for a guy, Red Velvet, who's under contract. I mean, I think it's starting right this season, that 4-year, very affordable. It's not, I'm off the top of my head, I don't have it written down what it's like. Is it 15 to 17, 18 million, something like that? That ballpark, really, really affordable contract here. Will it get the Kings into the playoffs? Let's start with the play-in. All right. Baby steps, baby. But the team looks like solid on paper. I think the defense is going to stink, but Fox, Sabonis, Harrison Barnes still there. Davion Mitchell. Okay. That's some defense. Malik Monk, Huerter now, Rashawn Holmes, and Keegan Murray, who, again, I'm not a draft expert by any means. A lot of people were like, Ivy doesn't want to play there, so they go with Keegan Murray. But look, they're taking him for a reason. You tell me. Can he contribute? He's going to get a chance, I think, on this squad. That's a nice little looking team right there. But I always talk myself into the Kings, and then like Kings fans, I'm crying 6 weeks into the season. There'll be like a small little flash, but no, I believe in De'Aaron Fox. Well, why give up a first rounder? People are asking, because you got a guy back on contract was a first rounder in Kevin Huerter, who's a shooter, who's like, I love hearing like he's upset that he was sub 40% from distance. He's like, I can be better than that. I should be better than that. Hell yeah, man. It's good. It's good. And again, the protections on that pick are like, things go poorly. You're going to be keeping it if it's lottery protected in 24 and then basically through to top 10 in 26. I mean, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. And the Hawks are sort of like having to do this once they made the DeJounte Murray trade. Who knows still with Collins, what they're doing with him. We said, I mean, if you listen to our podcast, like Hollinger had been saying, they're probably not done after the Murray trade here. Watch for Huerter, of course, Collins, and even Bogdanovich. So Huerter is the one that ultimately gets moved. Questions are coming fast and furious here in the stream team. Do the Celtics move Marcus Smart? Patrick asks. No, I wouldn't think so at all. I think the Celtics, again, outside of adding guys on vet minimum deals, I don't see them making a whole lot more. They have, I mean, you talk about a team. Holy crap. You have really elite or above average defense from your perimeter point guard spot for 48 minutes a game if everybody plays and healthy. Smart, obviously Brogdon, and Derek White. That's awesome. You have superstar scorers still, Tatum and Brown. You have Al Horford doing old man things, just contributing. I mean, he was unbelievable in the playoffs. Grant Williams they keep. Great, Robert Williams, if he can stay healthy, my God, I think he could go to the next level. No. You're, the Pritchard's like their 10th man at this point, and like you're finally like, and Gallinari's coming in. Like, no, they're not trading Marcus Smart. I would be shocked if Brad Stevens moves off his guy like that. So no. Other news here. And if you guys have questions about any of those three trades or any other thoughts or silly little comments, drop them. I mean, it is tough to sort of do both things at the same time here. But Zach LaVine signed a 5-year, $215 million contract extension with the Bulls. TK was happy with that. He was getting a little concerned on this morning's podcast that they hadn't put pen to paper yet there in Chicago. They'd only got Andre Drummond. Took care of the big beef, but they lock up Zach LaVine. I don't think this is a shock to anyone. Hopefully he can just stay healthy. He was, I mean, pre-injury, remember him cooking? Like, this is a well-deserved deal. It's just, God, those knees don't fail him, or this could be bad in a hurry, but healthy, I think that's a no-brainer. The Warriors lose Otto Man to the Raptors, my Toronto Raptors. After losing Gary Payton II to the Blazers, they lose Otto Porter Jr., who I think the reports are that the Warriors offered him like the vet's minimum. What? This guy was contributing to a championship. What? I thought you were light years ahead. Come on, why are you being cheapskates with this one? I know it costs them like substantially more for any deal they do. I mean, that's their own fault, but that's fine. But he says, no, I'm going to go take an actual deal with a real team here, get paid a little bit more of what I'm worth. And he signed a 2-year contract there with Toronto because, he's the perfect size. Check for the Toronto Raptors. Gives you a little bit of everything. Check. Seems like a great locker room guy. Check. So the Raptors snatched him up. The Cavs and Robin Lopez agreed to a 1-year deal. This was on the heels of Rubio this morning. In a really feel-good story, we probably glossed over it because we had so much to talk about. But Rubio, after the injury and getting let go and all that from Cleveland last year, that was nice that he's coming back to that team. He was really, really instrumental in them getting off to that hot start. So that's fantastic. But Robin Lopez, hey, for the vibes, he's there, backup big for Cleveland. Nurkic agreed to a 4-year, $70 million contract with the Blazers. I think this was becoming more and more likely that he was going to stay in Portland. It was what's going to be the money. So under sub, $20 million a year, I think that's the going rate for him. Another classic, stay healthy, you're okay. But different defensive schemes, of course, from Stotts to Billups. And can he hang? and be like somewhat, I mean, look, he ain't going to be Rudy Gobert, but be somewhat of a presence inside. Hey, maybe that's a team that could use Miles Turner, eh? Could the Blazers go get him somehow? But anyway, 4 years, $70 million for Nurk. So that team now, with Simons re-signing for 4 for 100. Lee and Trey were torn on that one this morning. Lee, very thumbs up. Trey, a little bit like, whoa, that's a lot of money for a 22-year-old that hasn't done a whole lot. He scored 17 points per game on a tanking team. Okay. What are your thoughts in the comments? But obviously, Dame back, healthy. Who they got? Josh Hart. They've got now Nurk there on the squad. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting a very key name here for the Portland Trailblazers right now. I know somebody will drop it in a second, but yeah, 470. Okay, he's not. That wasn't like, whoa, what? Oh my God. Oh, Gary Payton II, of course, was the one they went and got. He'll help out defensively. And other news: Mitchell Robinson, 4 years, $60 million. We slipped that into the first one with the Knicks. Oh, I meant to lump this together with the Otto Porter Jr. news. Looney on Canada Day. Ha! Love to see it. Agreed to a 3-year, $25.5 million deal with the Warriors. So this was, lose GP2, bad. Lose Otto Porter Jr., bad. Keep Looney, very good. For this deal, awesome. Starting center on a championship team. First year, $7 million. Third year, partial guarantee of $3 million. This is a very team-friendly deal here. Great value for Looney on that squad. So $25.5 million for Looney. And I think that's it, unless things are breaking as I talk to you guys. Let me know if anything is going down in the Twitterverse. KD will be traded in mere minutes now. I mean, should I just wait? That's what somebody said when I was joking on Twitter, like, I'm afraid to do an emergency podcast because as soon as I do, some news is going to break and all that. Somebody said, just go live like you're on Twitch. Just stay on all day. Just sit here. We can just read tweets. You guys want to read tweets together? We could do that. The sad part is people would do that with me, wouldn't they? Says something about me, says something about you. Take a long, hard look in the mirror when you say that out loud. Okay, so I'll stop the podcast so Mitchell can get traded and Durant can get traded. One more time because I love it. Oh, what is Utah doing? Well, they traded Gobert. Oh, my goodness. Love it, Wendy. So good. I showed that clip to my wife on her birthday. I said, you got to watch this. I think it was Mina Kimes that tweeted, this is like more dramatic than a murder podcast. My wife is a huge fan of it. Like, she's right. Mina's right. Listen to this. It's enthralling. I mean, he sort of, in the end, he said almost nothing. But it's just the way he said it. And then, of course, he called it too. So he knew something was up. He knew that this was around the corner. Maybe they're not done. And they probably won't. Let's hear your thoughts, everybody. Drop them in the comment section below. Please like the video. Please subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. I don't know when we'll be back. I'm going out to a really nice restaurant. I'm talking, when I say really nice, I'm going to an 8-course meal. I don't even need to see a menu. Bring it to me. And then just bring me the check at the end. I won't look at that either. Sign away. So yeah, I won't be around tonight, but we'll see what happens in the NBA world, and maybe we'll have a Saturday podcast for you. If not, we're scheduled to be back at some point next week. The guys are all over the globe right now. We'll be back in the Classic Factory for sure on Wednesday. There'll be a couple podcasts. Then we head to Vegas. We are doing a show, like a podcast, in Vegas. And then we're doing a little meet and greet on Saturday, July 9th, 7 p.m. at Starboard Tack. Look it up if you're at Summer League that first weekend and you want to come just have a beer with us. Come have an emergency drinking beer with us. It's very, very low key. But Starboard Tack, I think I put it, or I'll try and remember to put it in the YouTube comments. I know it was there. I'll try and put it on this one. But we'll call it there. I got to go have a shower and get on my nice buttoned up shirt. Can't wait for KD to be traded, and we'll be right back here, guys. Thank you so much to all the sickos for jumping on here live. We will see you when we see you. The NBA never stops. Embrace the day, people. You could stay.